It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Just recently, West Bloomfield Fire Station Number 1 held its annual Fire Department Open House, a beloved institution in Greater West Bloomfield that will continue, but next year the station will be looking very different. It was the final major event for Fire Station 1 before it begins its constructional overhaul that will take place throughout the next year. I spoke with Fire Chief Greg Flynn at the open house to hear his thoughts on the station's lasting impact and what he hopes this new station will provide.
Well, it's very exciting for first of all, the annual messaging on fire is everyone's fight and fire prevention within our communities. But there's a lot of excitement building around the renovation and really what the station will look like, which we hope will be Open House 2026. We'll be right back here and in the new fire station.
Could you describe a little bit on maybe what the new firehouse is going to be looking like?
Yeah, you're going to see a refresh on this municipal building along Orchard Lake Road, and we're going to update it, bring some color into it, and really just make it part of the community with some additional elements with the training tower and just an overall refresh, a kind of a fire station 2.0. The needs are apparent, and they have been. It's been part of our capital improvement plan for years, so it's been something that has been building, and we've been kind of collecting data and ideas and for the renovation. So it's all been part of the plan, so we're right on target with the planning, and it's an important part of government is managing those resources and ensuring that we don't get to a crisis level, that we're kind of in front of that, and that maintains services to the community.
What have you heard from residents who are really excited and really looking forward to these brand new changes with the fire department?
Well, I think the residents we're gonna build that excitement probably in the middle of October once we get in front of the board with the full proposal, and in that public hearing, residents are welcome to join us there. They're welcome to have conversations leading up to it. But at that meeting, October 20th, that's going to be where the green light really becomes very bright. The dollars will be approved, the plan will be approved, and it'll be forward. There's a lot of memories that are connected to this space, but what an opportunity for new memories. What an opportunity to show the importance of a building like this in the community. You're designing a large, building like this that has a multitude of operational aspects. There's some nerves with that. You want to get it right. The taxpayers trust us with those dollars. We want to get that right, and we want to future-proof it. We got to be thinking decades into the future as to what some of those needs are, and we got to build all those design elements in.
Are you looking forward to the future?
I very much am. I think the future is very bright for the WBFD. This community has a lot to be proud of with their paramedics, their firefighters here, our fire prevention role, our mitigation of hazards, our disaster response. There's a lot to be proud of in West Bloomfield.
He's absolutely right. There is a lot to be proud of in Greater West Bloomfield, and that absolutely means our fire department. Can't wait to see all of the fun and exciting changes that are going to be coming to Fire Station Number 1. And who knows, maybe the construction will be finished by the time that next year's Fire Station Open House will be rolling around. West Bloomfield Schools' top readers from elementary through high school were recently recognized for their outstanding participation in the West Bloomfield Township Public Library's Summer Reading Program. Designed to encourage students to keep reading throughout the summer months, the program helps foster a lifelong love of books while inspiring regular visits to the library. You can take a look on your screen if you're watching on Civic Center TV from all of the excitement that took place last night at the school board meeting. And to celebrate their achievements, Executive Library Director Kathy Russ and Young Adult Services Coordinator Steve Ketchum presented students with medals, snacks, and stickers as tokens of recognition for their dedication and success. The joy of reading is continuing to be spread all throughout the community, and you can take a look at all of the photos on Facebook at West Bloomfield schools to congratulate the students themselves for all of the hard work that they have done throughout the summer. This Sunday, October 5th, celebrate fall at the 18th annual Pumpkin Patch hosted by Jan Hayes, a beloved seasonal tradition in Sylvan Lake, bringing together families, friends, and neighbors for a festive day. Families can pick out pumpkins, capture memories, and participate in community traditions that have lasted for nearly 2 decades. And joining us now to tell us more about the event is Jan Hayes herself from JH Homes. Jan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Jake. Thank you for having us again.
Absolutely. Very, very excited. I mean, when you know the Jan Hayes Pumpkin Patch is coming around again, that's when you know that fall is here. So I'm sure the residents are really, really looking forward to it. And this is the 18th year of the Pumpkin Patch. What
Correct.
inspired you to start this tradition, and how would you say it's grown over the years?
Well, we started it years ago. I'm a resident of Sylvan. I've been a resident of Sylvan for 38 years. And I do primarily most of the sales in there. So it was a way for me to thank the community and give back. I do several promotions throughout the year, but the Pumpkin Patch has absolutely become the biggest event. And we start preparation several weeks beforehand. All of the households get a private invitation to the event. And so we're expecting close to 500 people again this year.
Wow. I mean, that really tells you how popular this event is every year. And what would you say makes this year's Pumpkin Patch very, very special compared to the past years?
Well, we always have the Great Pumpkin, and we have a countdown to the Great Pumpkin, which is 5 days from now, and the Great Pumpkin will arrive. It is a huge pumpkin, several hundred pounds, requires a front loader to be delivered to the person who wins it. And we this year we have some new things going on. We are going to have the Fox and the Fiddle, which is a duet play from 1 to 4 at the event, and they will also act as our MCs. We'll be giving away kind of organic boards and things throughout the event by pulling raffle tickets. And we also are going to have a costume parade this year. In years past, we've done it, and we're bringing the costume parade back. So a lot of the little ones do show up dressed up, and some of the adults too.
Man, that just sounds like so much fun. It sounds like there's something there for every member of the family. Now, I want to get
Absolutely.
into the Great Pumpkin Contest just a little bit more, because obviously that's one of the big draws to this event, and it adds a ton of excitement. What can you share a little bit more about how that contest works?
So what we do is when everybody comes to the event, we ask them to sign in, and they are given a raffle ticket for the Great Pumpkin specifically. And then usually around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we are going to draw it, and we have one of the children pull out the winning ticket. At that point, it is delivered by my husband, Paul. He drives the front loader to whomever has won the pumpkin. And unfortunately, it has to be a Sylvan Lake resident because we have to be able to get the pumpkin to the house. But we order over 2 tons of pumpkins every year from Prelip Farms, and they are the ones who pick out the giant pumpkin for us.
That is crazy. I mean, all those pumpkins, and you're giving away such a spectacle for the community. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone when the Great Pumpkin arrives at this event. And keep in mind, I said when, not if. I am not making the same mistake as Linus.
Right, absolutely.
But obviously, this Pumpkin Patch is playing such a big role in helping to celebrate the fall spirit all throughout Sylvan Lake and beyond. What would you say are some of the biggest ways people can celebrate at this event, and how would you say that this really touches families that show up?
I think it really creates an actual feel of being in the patch, and we invite you to come and see it so you can see firsthand. We deliver over 600 pumpkins, and thanks to some of the residents who have helped me year after year, the truck arrives at 7 a.m., and we literally create the patch for the kids to be able to walk through and choose their pumpkin. And we usually have medium-sized to larger. We have wheelbarrows, to help get them out to the cars and things. But I think that is probably the one event that the little ones enjoy the most, being able to actually run through the patch. And, we have corn stalks and hay bales and really try to make it feel authentic. We also do some of the other events that is the biggest draw is we have face painting every year. And it's gotten to the point where we have to have 2 face painters. And this year, again, we'll be designating tickets because they stand in line for hours to get the face painted. So we brought the Fox and the Fiddle in to kind of be able to host the games, to announce winners of other things going on. We serve over 600 chili dogs. We have cider and donuts. Every child who comes, actually every person who comes, gets a bag of candy that's already pre-made for them and handed to them. So there's a lot of things going on, but we do also have a crafts table where the kids can actually create their own pumpkin, either with stickers or paint or however they want to dress this little pumpkin up. So it is really a great event. And this year we have added, I think, last year in 24, 23, we started, it's called the Familiar Faces of Sylvan Lake. And what that is, we used to do it on a separate day, but it is the Familiar Faces of Sylvan Lake are all the dogs that we have in Sylvan Lake. Sylvan Lake is a very dog-friendly community. People walk always. So we started and we created the Familiar Faces of Sylvan Lake calendar. And every resident of Sylvan Lake in December receives a calendar for the upcoming year. So the 26 photos will be taken from 9 to 12 at the pumpkin patch. And then the patch actually starts from 12 to 4. But this way, it's the people of Sylvan Lake get to see their own dogs.
Oh, that is amazing.
So that is kind of how we've created this, and it's become a really big hit. And we are just kind of combining it to be able to get people there on the same day, at the community center. Bring the photos. You do have to go to janhayes.com in order to reserve a time for the photos because it is only going to be from 9 to 12. And then again, these are delivered in January to all the residents of Sylvan Lake.
That is fantastic. And then that's another reason that's going to help get people out there. You're going to see a whole bunch of dogs out at this event. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Jan Hayes of JH Homes, talking about the 18th annual Pumpkin Patch that is going to be celebrated here in Sylvan Lake this Sunday, October 5th. Now, Jan, how do you see events like this contributing to strengthening very, very powerful neighborhood connections?
I think it brings everybody together and everybody expects it and waits for it. We do several promotions throughout the year, but this definitely by far, because it is anybody can come. We have people, from 8 months to 80 who join us, so I think it really does bring everybody together. And I think we're going to be blessed with great weather again this weekend. We start doing it early in the month because weather has not been our friend. Sometimes when we hold it later in the month, but this way it really does. The trees are starting to change, being on the lake itself, the boats are still out, and it brings people together. And I think it shows what a unique community that Sylvan Lake is. We have a Parks and Recreations, committee that does many things throughout the year, and other individuals. We have a concert series. I do for the Memorial Day parade, we provide all the flags, and on the 4th of July, every single home is decorated with a flag from Jan Hayes Homes. And then the pumpkin patch absolutely just brings everybody out so they can be outside and enjoy the fall weather. And everything is provided, the food, the cider, everything for the kids' events, everything is provided for a way for us to say thank you to the community.
And they are very, very appreciative of everything that you do. Sounds like you do such a lot for the community. What keeps you motivated to continue organizing this event year after year?
I think really just to say thank you back to everybody for being so supportive of me over the years. And it really does keep everybody together. But what keeps me motivated is I love people and I love what I do. And this is a way to say thank you.
Well, everybody in the Sylvan Lake community loves what you do. It's going to be so much fun out there Sunday this week. I will certainly be there as well to see everything. One more question before we wrap things up, Jan. Looking ahead, how do you envision the pumpkin patch continuing to evolve within the next few years?
I would say we try to do something different every year to bring something in. Like last year, we had the live bugs. Depending on what the community will allow me to do, I'd love to bring in a petting farm or something like that. We used to do the bounce houses and all that, but COVID changed those things. So we try to think of different things to keep it exciting for the people. But I do see it continuing. It has become a staple of the community, and whether it's just me or the Parks and Recs becomes involved with me at some point. But it was a way that I started way back, 18 years ago, as a just a special thanks to the people who have supported me.
18 years, and look at how this event has grown. It is one of the best annual traditions in the Sylvan Lake community, and it is all happening this weekend. Jan, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Jake, thank you for having us again. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Of course. Once again, Sunday, October 5th is the date, and it's taking place right in Sylvan Lake. Don't miss it. Say hi to everybody and have some festive fall fun while you're at it. In just a few weeks, the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation will be holding a mini photo session to capture some delightful family memories. The event is taking place on Saturday, October 18th from 10 to 2 at Bloomer Park in West Bloomfield. It's a great way to spend the day with those you love, as well as supporting several great causes, as 100% of the proceeds will benefit the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation and local educational programs. Photographer Alicia Kowalski recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us more. Alicia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course, this is such a great event, especially in the heart of fall. You've got the beautiful colors around you, a great landscape for great family photos. How did you get involved with the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's family mini photo session?
So I have a family friend who's on the board of directors for the Educational Foundation, and she reached out to me and told me about this new opportunity of fundraising for the community and asked me if I wanted to participate.
Awesome. And why is supporting local education important to you personally and professionally?
So personally, I actually have 3 children, one of which just graduated from West Bloomfield High School, and 2 more coming up through the elementary schools. So very close to my heart in terms of local education and what a strong school system does to support the community. As a photographer, I love that education supports the creativity and storytelling aspect of things, and having creative arts as a part of the educational system, I think, is so important. So I love that I get to participate into with the foundation and express my creative outlet.
That's absolutely right, and it's great that you are giving back to the West Bloomfield community in this way. So once again, this event is taking place on October 18th. What can families expect from their session with you on the day of the event?
So I think families can expect a very well organized event. It will be fun. It'll be relaxing. As you mentioned, Bloomer Park is just a beautiful setting for fall colors. They'll be greeted when they arrive. They can expect from me personally to try and make them as comfortable as possible, trying to establish an early connection, especially if there's young children involved. I'll be providing posing guidance and prompts to get true, authentic reactions from the family.
That's great to hear. And yeah, as you said, especially with families with younger children, things can sometimes get a little bit chaotic. It could be a little difficult to rein the children in and to get them to sit still. So I am curious, what's your approach to capturing genuine family moments in such a short time frame? Because you only have a little bit of time with each family.
Yeah, so I try to be, fun and silly, bubbles and music playing or anything I can do. And I do have a trick up my sleeve if worse comes to worse and I'm really not getting a good reaction out of the young children. I'll let them push the buttons on my camera to take their own pictures, and then they get to see them. So that usually works pretty well to get there. If you do this, then smile, you can take a picture on my camera, and that usually perks them up pretty quickly.
Hey, sometimes bribery comes in handy, and that's a pretty good incentive for these kids, a pretty good reward. So after the photos are taken, can you describe maybe the kinds of edits or touches that you add to the final photo gallery that the families can see?
Yeah, so editing is part of my favorite part of the process. And I always try to, especially with the fall colors, my fall editing style tends to be very warm, soft, vibrant, trying to pull those colors through. And also I try to remove any distractions or blemishes, scratches, anything that, might make an individual nervous, especially with the little kids. They get bumps and bruises pretty easily. So no need to worry about any of that. These will be completely professionally edited images.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with photographer Alicia Kowalski, who's going to be one of the photographers for the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's Family Mini Photo Session that's going to be taking place on October 18th. Now, Alicia, you talked about this a little bit a second ago, but how does it feel knowing that your work is helping to fund educational programs here in West Bloomfield?
I absolutely love it. It's near and dear to my heart. I've had the opportunity to meet and establish a lot of relationships with the educators within the community. As I mentioned, my own children are part of the community, and I just think it's a wonderful event. And the organization and foundation in itself does just fantastic things for the community. So I am so happy to be a part of it.
And we love that you're a part of it as well. I am curious, once you're done with the families and once you've taken all the photos, what kind of feedback do you usually get from families after events like this?
So one of my favorite parts is after I send a family a gallery and I patiently wait to see what their response is. And I have been very fortunate to have just wonderful feedback that comes back in, and it's very heartwarming to hear from families and what they think of their photos and their captured moments in time. And I've been very fortunate to have to spread word of mouth quite a bit for my services, and then also have just a lot of positive feedback. So it's been I've been very blessed in that aspect.
Glad to hear it, and glad to hear that the families are taking such positive memories away from the experience. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Alicia. Is there a message you'd like to share with families who might be considering signing up themselves this year?
Yeah, I think what families tend to do is things like family photos get overshadowed quite a bit with all of the grind that we have in our daily lives. And my message to families will be like, take the opportunity. And not only is it going to be a beautiful setup and very reasonable pricing, but I think we need to prioritize those moments more with our families and ourselves to get that moment captured, and something that will live on well beyond the moment itself. So I highly encourage families to take advantage of the opportunity, and they will also get their edited photos back in time for all their Christmas card planning.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Alicia. Last thing, where can people go to maybe gain a little more information about what you provide and about the event in general?
So they can reach out to me directly on my website, EliciaMariePhotography.com, and ask any additional questions. I am also on social media, Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to see what's to come from this event and for all of the work that's going to be done to benefit the Educational Foundation. Alicia, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you.
One more reminder, the event is taking place on Saturday, October 18th from 10 to 2 at Bloomer Park in West Bloomfield. Big thank you to Alicia for stopping by and for sharing all this information right here on the Splash Live. We're going to take a break and jump into some more stories and topics right after this. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jake Schaff. Soul Studio in West Bloomfield's latest art exhibit was unveiled to the public recently. Worlds Beyond, an exploration of imagination, is available to view from now until November 13th at Soul Studio in West Bloomfield, providing another incredible opportunity for the greater West Bloomfield community to witness the vast creativity and artistry of the Soul Studio artists. I spoke with some of the visitors of the exhibit as well as those who work for Soul Studio to hear their thoughts on witnessing this magic.
I'm honestly really impressed. Like, some of the stuff in here is really good. Like, you know, walking around this art gallery, sometimes, like, I forget I'm in, like, just, like, a local art gallery. I'm like, oh, wow, this is, like, a professional studio almost. Like, it's amazing, honestly. Like, I really appreciate that they give the opportunity to everybody here, and they get this awesome creative outlet and give back to the community at the end of the day, you know?
It's incredible. I have been to every one. I have been since day one when it was just sort of a thought. So every art show is incredible. I think they get better every time.
And I understand that your daughter has some exhibits here tonight. What is it like to see her showcase her artwork to everybody?
What can I say? It's amazing. It's my motto is never say never, because she was totally nonverbal and totally in her own world for years. So a lot of therapy and a lot of friendship circle and Soul Studio. And that is why she is who she is today.
What have been some of the coolest things you've seen here tonight from the art?
Man, I would say just like the collaborative piece, which is like the main focus over there. It's awesome to see everyone work together kind of in their own way and then see it get pieced together. I really enjoy it.
How great is it to see all of their hard work pay off and to be featured in such a prominent way?
No, it's amazing, you know. It's really amazing because I kind of feel part of it, you know, and then seeing everyone get excited about their artwork hanging up, and then especially when it sells, it makes it all worth it.
And would you say with this theme, Worlds Beyond, that it's really showcasing the imagination of these artists?
Well, you know, people hold multitudes, and these artists have such rich inner worlds that once they display them and share them with us, it's a door to extraordinary place. It's out of this world.
What are some of the biggest things people can take away from being a part of something like this?
That it's not just the artwork, it's the friendships, it's knowing that you belong somewhere, nobody's questioning you, everybody loves you. It's an amazing organization. What can I say? I don't know what I would do without it.
You know, I think a big thing is like, don't judge a book by its cover, you know? I think a lot of times, like the artists that we work with, they haven't had an opportunity to present what they can do, but it's amazing to see what people are capable when given the opportunity.
These are always some of my favorite events to stop by and witness in Greater West Bloomfield. Seeing all of this beautiful artwork on display for everybody to enjoy and to meet the artists who are responsible for it, it warms my heart every single time. And as a reminder, all of this fantastic art is available at Soul Studio until November 13th. The Heroes Appreciation Breakfast takes place November 4th from 9 to 10:30 a.m., hosted by West Bloomfield Parks in collaboration with West Bloomfield Township and the West Bloomfield School District and the Public Library. And the event is held at West Bloomfield Middle School and honors the dedication and sacrifices of both veterans and their families, giving thanks to heroes past and present. Here to give us a sneak peek of this year's event is the Senior Services Manager for West Bloomfield Parks, Bernadette Hudgens. Bernadette, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. So glad to be here to join you.
Absolutely glad to have you with us as well. Really looking forward to the Heroes Breakfast coming up soon. It's one of the biggest events with West Bloomfield Parks that takes place every single year. How long has this event been going on, and what does it mean to West Bloomfield Parks?
I'd say a little over 10 years. This program has been a program that is one of those things that is a staple in the community. It is an event that we have a lot of great support because people want to honor our veterans. I mean, honestly, we think about the freedoms that we have here in our great country. It is because of the sacrifices and dedication of our veterans. So we are happy to take this opportunity as a token to show them our appreciation.
That's absolutely right. And of course, it's not just West Bloomfield Parks who helps to put this together, as we mentioned.
Yes.
There's a ton of partnerships that help make this event possible. It's almost like the Avengers, everyone teaming up. You got the West Bloomfield Township, the school district, the public library, everybody. How does that enhance the event's mission?
Well, I think that it really helps to show the community that this is something that is not just honored and appreciated by the WB Parks, but by the community partners who are serving them on a day-to-day basis. So I think, and I love the fact that not only this event could not happen without the wonderful sponsors that we have, Seniors Benefit Plus, for example. They support us year after year. And so these are this program, I should say, is so important and so valued, and it just creates that space to say, hey, we thank you. And we're excited this year because we had the hometown singers, but then we also have some local musicians, and that will be the middle school. They will be performing our veterans out at the end of the session. So we're really excited about this year's event. And we also have some donations from Mission Barbecue. So we're really excited about this event and looking forward to being able to gather our seniors, all of our veterans to acknowledge this important season as we go into Veterans Day.
That's right, and it's going to be a very moving ceremony for all of the veterans that are there.
Yes.
And every Heroes Breakfast, I'm sure no two Heroes Breakfasts have been exactly the same. What new features or enhancements are being introduced this year compared to past years?
Well, one of the things that every year, our goal is always to make it more seamless, make it more efficient. And so in the past, we've had photographers. We're actually doing our own photo booth, and we have it set up so that folks can take their photos, go into their event, walk out, have their names on their badge, on their pictures, they can walk out. We also, like I said, we had a donation from Mission Barbecue, and they're donating a Tiffany casserole. So that will be a new addition. And we have all of our wonderful volunteers who play a key role in making this event happen so that we can serve almost 200 folks that come out. And we also have a process that is easier for them to check in, and we have a special guest from Selfish Air Base. So we're really excited about this event. But I will tell you, this is a well-oiled machine because we've been doing it. The processes and how we do it is great. And so we do have our fire chief, our fire chaplain, Tim Hoserland, who will be doing our invocation. We have a wonderful MC, Al Muskovitz. So if you watch the news or know anything about sports, or even have been around for a while, Big Al is going to be our MC. And then we have one of our fire chiefs will also be our MC. So will be one of our folks who will be doing some speaking as well. So I think we have some really great things going, and we're excited about the event this year.
You absolutely should be excited. It sounds like you've got a great lineup of speakers and entertainers for the program. How do you select who speaks and entertains for the program, and what qualities do you tend to look for in those people?
I think one of the qualities first, we want them to understand the veteran experience. So if they are not a veteran, that they've interacted and engaged, because again, this is to honor our veterans. So we want to make sure that we are having presenters who can speak to their challenges, who can speak to how important that they are. So that's really important for us. And then also making sure that we are trying to find local veterans or people who are currently serving, so that we can make sure that we are taking into consideration some of the challenges that people may experience just living in and also the wins that people may have living in our community or near our community.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Bernadette Hudgens, the Senior Services Manager for West Bloomfield Parks, who's giving us some insight on this year's Heroes Appreciation Breakfast that is going to be taking place on November 4th. Now, as we've said, this event is open to everybody, not just veterans, but non-veterans as well. How do you balance honoring veterans while also including non-veterans, and what's the significance of making it open to all?
Well, I think it's important as we think about honoring our veterans that, again, that they know that it's not just our community partners, right? So anyone who is not a veteran and they're not coming as a gift, the fee is nominal, $15 for a breakfast, and most of us spend more than that going to brunch. So $15 is a nominal fee, but all of our veterans, and again, you don't have to be a West Bloomfield veteran to come. So you go on to our wbparks.org website, you can go and look for the registration, and you can register, and every veteran is able to bring one free guest. So again, it's a great event. The tickets go fast, so we encourage people, go ahead and get that registration going so that we can make sure that we're ready and prepared for you. And it's going to be an exciting event.
Sounds like it, and I hope that there are a lot of veterans that end up making their way over to West Bloomfield Middle School to celebrate this event. And as this has been going on for a few years, I'm curious, what has the response been from the veterans who attend, especially the ones that have come back every year? And are there particular moments that really resonate the most with them?
I would say yes. So first of all, this is a very important event. And our seniors, the feedback has been very positive. They enjoy it, they respect it, and they look for it. And so, we are always thinking about how to make things better and greater. And we receive feedback. Last year, we happened to have it on a Saturday, and we received feedback that there was a preference because of our Jewish veterans would like it to be on a weekday. So we were able to work with the school, and because the day of voting is a day that we know automatically that the children are not there or will be leaving, we can make sure that the space is open. So, and it was a question of, wow, you're having this event on the day of voting. And I would say, as we think about one of the wonderful things that our veterans fought for, and that's for our democracy. So having it on the day of voting, I think, is a way to also commemorate one of the key things that they fought for in regards to our freedom. So it's going to be a great event. And the wonderful thing about it is that it's just for a few hours. So again, it's not the whole day. You come in, enjoy some music, along with great speakers and a tasty breakfast. I say that our school children are eating really well because the cooks and the culinary staff there at the West Bloomfield Middle School, their breakfasts are, bar none, the best. I know that I've enjoyed.
That's great to hear. And that's very interesting to hear the thought process in terms of choosing the day. And it makes a lot of sense. It's a day that everybody is thinking about our country. And of course, that means it's a day we're thinking about our veterans. So it all makes sense. I think that that is a great decision. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Bernadette. What would you say this event means to the families of veterans and their service members? And how would you say this impacts them specifically?
I love that question because I think it speaks to how honored and appreciative that they have that we have an event like this, that they can say, not only do I care about my veteran, but there is a level of respect and honor, and also we appreciate the family members, because if you are a family member of a veteran, there is sacrifice. There's sacrifice that you would have made that otherwise other people may not have experienced. So you've given up a lot as a family member of a veteran, whether you are a child or even a grandchild, because there are stories and also experiences that they may have that impact them today.
That's absolutely right. It's important that these stories are preserved, and it's great that this is going to be an amazing event to help tell those stories and to celebrate these veterans for everything that they've done. Last question, Bernadette. Looking ahead, how would you like the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast to evolve or expand in the future?
I think we're constantly thinking about how to make the program better. And so I think last year we had a video that was done. So I'm really hoping in the future that we can do some things more with the students to be able to engage veterans who may not only show up, but also just to make sure that we take into account people's stories, people's experiences. And it's always wonderful to hear a speaker, but it's something that is to be said about a person in real, a person who may just be a regular guest and may not have been a corporal or a sergeant, but as a private who have had experiences. So I think thinking about how we can continue to engage our participants in the program, I think that's one of the things that I'd like to add as I think about what this program, broadening and having it grow in the future.
Well, we can't wait to see what's to come with this year's event and for everybody to be celebrating all of this fun on November 4th. Bernadette, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
My pleasure, and anytime.
Once again, the Heroes Breakfast is going to be taking place on November 4th at West Bloomfield Middle School from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And if you are not able to be there in person, have no fear, because Civic Center TV will be broadcasting this year's breakfast right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. So you will have many different ways to experience this very moving celebration of all of the veterans in our community. As we're nearing the end of National Preparedness Month, it's important to remember the many ways West Bloomfield residents can stay informed and up to date on everything that can help you in an emergency situation. One of those helpful tools being Nixle alerts, which can inform you of any major weather, road alerts, or emergencies in the greater West Bloomfield area. Dispatcher Jen Curran from the West Bloomfield Police Department recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us more. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great and really, really happy to have you with us, as this is a very important topic of discussion, especially right now in National Preparedness Month. So can you explain in a little more detail what Nixle is and how the West Bloomfield Police Department utilizes it?
So Nixle is a mass notification system that allows us to send out messages, alerts, informational things about things that might be going on within the township that citizens would need to be aware of. We use them for storms. If there's a critical event going on, we need you to stay out of a particular area. Sometimes we use them as a kind of heads up for construction zones that we know are coming, projects that we know are happening, and we just try to use it to notify the citizens of things going on in the moment they're happening.
Okay, and that's good. That helps to inform a lot of the residents of the community. I am curious, how do you determine what alerts to send out? Like, what constitutes something that qualifies a Nixle alert or something that maybe isn't as important to disclose to the public?
Usually it is based mostly on the number of people it's going to affect, whether it's your route of travel and we need to kind of reroute traffic for a few hours. If it's a safety issue, we need people to stay in their homes, but we know it's going to affect a large area. We usually use those kind of determinants to decide what to send out, how often to send it out. Sometimes for our construction ones, we'll send it out multiple times as reminders just to keep it in people's heads. If it's a safety alert, we will just send it out in that moment and then we send a follow-up once it's clear. But usually it's just based on the specific incident at that moment and the number of people it's going to affect.
Okay, that's good to know. Do you know of any, maybe some recent examples or recent situations where Nixle alerts had a direct positive impact on public safety?
So we've been using them a lot recently for all the road construction we've been having, where we're shutting down lanes and streets and having to reroute people. I know we sent a couple out last week when they were doing the Walnut Lake and Orchard Lake project that on Saturday that Consumers Energy was doing. So we used those and we were able to give some citizens a couple days heads up so they can plan ahead. And then citizens would call us and say, you know, I got your alert. What's the best route you think I should take? And we're able to just kind of keep more people out of those areas to keep everything safe.
Of course. And how would you say Nixle has improved communication between the police department and the residents of West Bloomfield?
So it lets us alert people easier and faster on a larger scale, which then prevents people having to call and ask us, tying up our phone lines for other emergencies that might be happening. It gives people information on the moment that it's going on and everything they need to know. So then they can look for other routes or other ways to figure out the information they need. And then it lets us tell them everything they need to know in that moment and helps us share what's going on.
Of course, good that you're able to have this direct communication with the people of our community. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with West Bloomfield Police Department dispatcher Jen Curran about Nixle alerts, a very important topic to go over, especially in the middle of National Preparedness Month. Now, Jen, I am curious, how can residents sign up for Nixle if they have not done so already? And is it free to use?
It is free to use. Anybody can sign up. There's two separate ways to sign up. So you can either text your zip code to 888-777, and that will automatically sign you up through that text message. Or you can go to local.nixle.com/register, and there's a form you can fill out there. It does give you the option to provide both an email address and a phone number, and then determine how you want your alerts received from there. Once you're in there, you can set up all your settings for how you want to receive it, and you will be on the list.
Awesome. Great that there's an easy way for everybody to stay informed of the news in West Bloomfield, and it comes at no extra cost. Now, Jen, I am curious because there are a lot of other communication tools that are used via online where that can send out information about news events and things that are happening in the community. How would you say Nixle compares to other communication tools like social media or news outlets in terms of speed and reliability?
So for us in the dispatch center, it's faster. There's a form that we fill out and then it just automatically pushes things out. What usually ends up happening is we then forward that to our Facebook page and other forms of notification. But this one in the moment works the fastest. And it gets us out to the most people because it comes through as a text message alert. You'll receive it as you would every other text message. You don't have to actively be on your social media or email or anything to be able to see it. You will get that alert pushed through to you. And so it gives you that faster notification.
Absolutely. Speed is of the essence, and it's great that Nixle is able to provide that. Now, we touched on this a little bit a second ago in terms of maybe some weather-related emergencies that Nixle helps to inform the public about. In what ways does Nixle help the department manage larger emergencies or weather-related events more efficiently?
It lets us push out additional alerts if there's warnings, when we have down trees, down wires. We can tell people what areas to stay out of. We can send reminders, don't touch the wires, don't go near trees. You know, we get those ice storms that come through and it knocks a lot of power out. This will let us notify people that we're aware of it. When they necessarily don't have that access to the internet in the moment, maybe because their power's out, it lets us contact them through text message and they can still get that information. We use it when we need people to take shelter. Maybe there's a tornado coming through. We'll send out the alert along with all those alerts you get from the news saying, hey, take shelter, something's coming. And we just try to keep spreading that information in all the different ways we're able to.
Always great to hear it. Last question before we wrap things up, Jen. Is there anything you'd like more residents to know or understand about how to make the most of Nixle that we haven't talked about already?
The biggest thing to remember is that you can't respond to it. It is a one-way transmission. So if you have a further question or there's more information you need, or maybe you have more information than what we presented in that Nixle, you'll have to actively contact us at the station, usually through our non-emergency lines, just to either ask your question or give us that information you have. If you respond to that text message, we cannot receive it.
Okay, that is very, very important to know, and hopefully a lot of residents are watching this, and if they have not signed up for Nixle already, they will do so. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Valuable information and resources to keep Greater West Bloomfield residents informed. We appreciate Jen Curran for joining us on the Splash Live. The Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner has been running a calendar artwork contest for over 20 years, inviting 4th and 5th grade students to explore how to protect and preserve local freshwater bodies such as lakes, rivers, streams, and watersheds. Contest submissions have been accepted once annually for the 2026 calendar, and the entry period is wrapping up this week on October 3rd. Jim Nash, the Water Resources Commissioner, recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us about this contest and what it provides.
Thanks for joining us today, Commissioner.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, glad to have you on about this. It's something that gets the kids really excited year in and year out, gets their artistic genes moving forward and gets them creative and learning all in the process while having them a chance to display their art across the county. Give us the basics on the Clean Water Calendar Contest, what's going on with it in 2025.
Well, I'm glad I followed your previous show. This is about protecting our watersheds, learning about them, knowing what's in them. And this has been going on 21 years, long before I was in this office. And it's an effort to explore our watersheds and teach our 4th and 5th graders across those watersheds all about the environment, how we're protecting it, how they need to help protect it. The history of it, the long term of it, the great strides that have been done in terms of cleaning up that water and how we need to keep doing that. It brings in anywhere from 700 to 1,200 student art projects that they bring in. This works with their curriculum to help really bring it to life. When 4th and 5th graders come to these things, they learn about things, they see bugs under microscopes, it really fills in their imaginations and it carries forward. I've had young people come up to me, college students, who said they remembered going to this and how important it was. So it's one of those things that teaching everybody, and a lot of these kids take it back to their families and talk to them about all these things that are happening and have happened.
And it gets them an ability to learn and express what they've learned, put some context to it, help others learn as well, and it gets them engaged in a educational topic that may otherwise slip through in a classroom environment. How have you and others that help to oversee this contest found that this does engage students beyond what they would get in the traditional, more rote learning environment?
Oh, certainly. So, this is part of what we do. It's all around education. We have watershed festivals for 4th and 5th graders. And they come to Cranbrook Museum of Science, or they go to Oakland University campus. And they go off into all these different stations where they can learn different things. And it really does have an impression. Like I said, we had a young woman come to us looking for a job and said she remembered going to that, and that was the reason she wanted to come to us. So this kind of thing does have a huge impact. again, we go to the schools that are in each one of these watersheds. So it's a certain number of schools. And again, we get between each one of them 700 or 1,000 that come in to do this for the art contest. So all these are different parts of that education project, and all of them have an impact on their families, and the future. You know, we're touching the future in a way that really brings it to them. And once you catch the imagination of a young person, they can follow that their whole lives. And I think that's important.
The Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner's Clean Water Calendar Contest is open right now. You can get more information and submit your entries. 4th and 5th graders only. oakgov.com/calendar contest for more information. Once again, that's oakgov.com/calendar contest. We're joined by Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner Jim Nash on the program. As I mentioned, Commissioner, it's open to 4th and 5th graders specifically. That's the pool of artists that are going to ultimately be selected for these 12 different art pieces to go into this calendar. Why the focus specifically on those age groups in 4th and 5th grade?
Well, it's when they're really learning about these things for the first time in schools. So this backs that up again. It's tied to their curriculum. We want to make sure that they get that actual, tactile, that vision, that they see things rather than just reading them in a book or in a picture. So I think that's very important. And again, our partners, I mentioned Oakland University and Cranbrook Institute of Science. Cranbrook has been working with us from the beginning on this and on the watershed festivals. This is an amazing, I think the best cultural institution, right there with the zoo, but right there in Oakland County, and one of the best in the state. So this is that they're reaching out, we're helping them do that. The more we can work with and leverage all this out, the better we're off in the long run. This is part of our permits to do public education. And I have a nonprofit that helps fund a lot of this through Oakland Water. We work with Oakland University and Cranbrook to do this. And partners are very important in all our communities. Oakland County Schools plays a part. The communities we work with in their schools all play a part in this. And it's a wonderful way of uniting everyone around the cause of protecting the environment that we all depend on.
Entries are due by October 3rd. So now through October 3rd, these kids can make these pieces, send them into the county, and then those winners will be selected. Those 12 winning pieces by mid-November, they'll be announced, and it includes a number of different prizes. Of course, recognition via a virtual exhibit, a calendar inclusion, some fun swag and art supplies as well. And these entries, they do have some specific parameters, Commissioner. Can you give us some details on what you're looking for from these 4th and 5th graders in terms of these art pieces, and what is allowed to be entered into this contest?
Well, we break it down into 12 kind of parts. So there's one for each month. You're looking at things like protecting our water, what's in the water, what we can do as individuals, what we can do as communities, and how things work. So these are all kind of, each year they're a little bit different. There'll be different categories, and they go out to the schools, so the schools see that, and then it's part of their curriculum, so the students pick out what's most interesting to them. And I can tell you, some of the art is absolutely amazing. I mean, some of it looks like it's done by adults, done by real, active artists. We've had several that have, actually 2 people have won both in 4th and 5th grade, have won the top prize, which is they get the most of the swag and most things like tickets to Cranbrook for their family for the year, and just a bunch of different things, art supplies and all kinds of different stuff like that. So we have this in December, usually second or third weekend, Saturday in December, where we have this at Cranbrook, where we give it to the kids and have a little, lunch, and it makes a real event for the ones that win. And there's some runners up too. So this is all to, really spur that interest, get them going in terms of knowing what they live in terms of the environment, how they can work to protect it. It's just vitally important, and it really does. It gets back to families, it gets back to communities. We really work well with all our partners.
And as Oakland County faces water-related challenges, as much as they're able to overcome them in comparison to some other communities that may have even greater struggles or struggle with similar issues on a larger scale, how do educational efforts like this help to contribute to the county and ultimately your office as well, being able to address these issues and put some solutions in place that support the residents who are here in our communities?
Well, just getting the word out. Education is vitally important so people know what we're doing and the reason we're doing it. You know, climate change is bringing much stronger storms, much heavier rain than it had just 30 or 40 years ago. And they've increased dramatically, and we expect them to continue increasing. We have to build our infrastructure to be resilient to these storms, so there's less damage. We can recover right away. We're not worrying about damage to property or homes, businesses, even nature itself. So we have to build these things stronger. We have to make them, up to the storms. And any way we can to get that message out, we do as much as we can. This is one of those ways: the calendar contest and the watershed festivals.
Contest submissions are available until October 3rd. And folks, that's going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the team for helping to make this show possible every single day. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.